The story of Abishai.
Before we continue, please do not forget to quickly encourage us by subscribing to our channel.
Abishai was born into a family of warriors. His mother, Zeruiah, was a sister of King David, making Abishai his nephew. He had two brothers, Joab and Asahel, and together they formed one of the most formidable warrior families in Israel's history. Their father is never mentioned in the Bible, which suggests that Zeruiah played a significant role in raising them. She instilled in them a deep sense of duty, loyalty, and the skills needed to survive in a world where wars determine the fate of nations. From a young age, Abishai trained in combat, learning the ways of the sword, spear, and shield. His childhood was not one of ease and comfort, but of discipline, hardship, and preparation for the battles that would one day define his life. Abishai's first real test came during the years when David was fleeing from King Saul. At that time, David was a fugitive, hunted like an animal by the man who once welcomed him into his court. Though many feared Saul's wrath, Abishai and his brothers chose to stand with David. They became part of his loyal band of warriors, a group of men who hid in caves, moved through the wilderness, and fought battles against both Saul's forces and enemy nations that sought to destroy Israel. During one critical moment, Abishai proved both his loyalty and his fierce warrior instincts. One night, David and his men found Saul's camp as the king lay asleep, unaware that his enemies stood so close. Abishai, ever bold and eager for action, whispered to David, "Let me strike him with a spear to the ground with one blow. I won't need to strike him twice." But David refused. He would not harm the Lord's anointed, and instead, they took Saul's spear and water jug as proof that they had been close enough to kill him. Though Abishai was ready to end the conflict in that moment, he obeyed David's command, showing his ability to submit to a leader's wisdom even when his warrior's instincts told him otherwise. As David's power grew, so did Abishai's reputation. He was known as a man who would fight to the death for his king, and his exploits on the battlefield were legendary. One of his most remarkable feats was when he single-handedly killed 300 enemy warriors with his spear. His skill and fearlessness set him apart, and he became one of the most trusted and respected leaders in David's army. But Abishai was not only a warrior, he was also David's protector. As David grew older, his strength in battle began to wane. In one particular fight against the Philistines, David faced a giant named Ishbi-Benob, a descendant of the Rephates, who wielded a massive spear and was determined to kill the king. David, exhausted from battle, was on the verge of being struck down. At that moment, Abishai rushed forward, fought the giant, and killed him, saving David's life. This battle was a turning point. Realizing that David's presence on the battlefield put Israel's future at risk, his men insisted that he no longer fight alongside them, fearing that the lamp of Israel would be extinguished. Abishai's story is also one of family loyalty, though it was often a violent and ruthless loyalty. His brothers Joab and Asahel were both powerful warriors, but their fates were intertwined with political struggles. Asahel, the youngest, was known for his speed and agility. During a battle between David's men and those still loyal to Saul, Asahel pursued Abner, Saul's former general. Despite Abner's warnings to turn back, Asahel refused to give up the chase. In a moment of desperation, Abner thrust his spear backward, piercing Asahel and killing him instantly. Abishai and Joab never forgot this. They held a deep grudge against Abner, and even when Abner later sought peace with David, the brothers took revenge. Joab lured Abner into a false sense of security, and then stabbed him in the stomach, killing him in cold blood. David mourned Abner's death and distanced himself from the act, but he did not punish Joab or Abishai. Their power in the army was too great, and David understood that men like them were necessary for maintaining order in a kingdom where threats came from every side. Abishai's loyalty to David was unshakable, but his temperament was fierce. He was a man of action, sometimes quick to violence. When David was fleeing from his son Absalom, a man named Shimei from Saul's family began cursing David, throwing stones at him and insulting him. Abishai, furious at the insult to his king, turned to David and said, "Why should this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over and take off his head." But David, showing his wisdom and restraint, stopped him. He told Abishai that if God had allowed Shimei to curse him, then he would not interfere. Abishai, though always ready to fight, obeyed David's wishes once again. Abishai continued to serve David faithfully through every rebellion and battle. When Absalom led a revolt against his father, Abishai was there to help lead the forces that crushed the rebellion. Later, when another man named Sheba tried to challenge David's rule, Abishai was given command of the army to hunt him down. He led the troops into battle, ensuring that the rebellion was put down swiftly. Throughout his life, he was always at the front lines, ready to fight for his king. As time passed, David's reign faced constant threats, but Abishai remained one of his most trusted warriors. However, his later years were marked by continued bloodshed. His brother Joab, though a brilliant commander, was ruthless in his methods, often acting on his own without David's approval. Their shared brutality eventually led to their downfall. After David's death, when Solomon took the throne, Joab's past betrayals caught up with him. Solomon ordered Joab's execution for his previous acts of murder and rebellion. Though there is no direct mention of Abishai's fate, his absence from the story suggests that he may have either died in battle or faded from political influence after David's passing. Unlike some of David's other mighty men, there is no mention of Abishai's descendants. It is unclear whether he had children or a family that continued his legacy. His story ends with his loyalty, his strength, and his unwavering dedication to David. He was not a man of politics, nor was he one to seek power for himself. He was a warrior, a protector, and a man whose name was written in the annals of Israel's history for his incredible feats on the battlefield. He saved David's life, fought in some of the kingdom's most dangerous wars, and ensured that his king remained on the throne. Though history does not remember his lineage, it remembers his deeds. He was a man whose spear and sword never failed him, a warrior whose loyalty never wavered, and a defender of Israel until the very end. I hope this story inspires you. To encourage us, please subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications bell.